I am Priestess Autumn Phoenix. Follow me on my social media platforms at Facebook, Magically Blessed, on Instagram, Autumn_Phoenix1, on Twitter, Priestess Autumn, on YouTube at Autumn Phoenix, on Periscope at Autumn Phoenix. Now, I know a lot of witches have children that they may feel is ready to practice witchcraft and to have a more magically filled life. Only the parent can decide that. Not another witch, not a priest, not a priestess. Only the parent can determine if a child is ready to be introduced to witchcraft. But first of all, maybe you should know what Wicca and what witchcraft is. Wicca is a nature-based religion. Now, when I say that, I don't mean that Wiccans, witches, pagans go out every day and worship trees and flowers. No. Wiccans sometimes identify themselves as witches. Some do not. Wicca is a modern day of worship based on nature and our connection with it. Witchcraft is working with the energy found in nature to bring about change. Let me say it again. Wicca is a modern day form of worship based on nature and our connection with it. Witchcraft is working with the energy found in nature to bring about change. All witches and Wiccans are pagan. Not all Wiccans are witches. Not all witches are Wiccan. Witches don't look a particular way. I am a witch and I don't look like the typical movie or TV witch. I look totally normal. And I think that scares a lot of people because that means your doctors, your teachers, your lawyers, your neighbors, even some of your family members may be witches and you just don't know it because they don't look like a witch. Witches do not look a particular way. They don't. They look totally normal. Some people do dress in all black or they might dress gothic. I don't dress that way. I'm too much of a feminine woman to dress that way. But some do, and that's totally their choice. When it comes to Wicca, there is no Satan. Witches do not worship Satan. Satan, let me tell you something. Satan is a Christian creation created by Christians to terrorize and control you. Let me say it again. Satan is a Christian creation created by Christians to terrorize and control you. Somebody needs to write that down because somebody watching this broadcast do not know this. And they need to have this drilled into their head. There is no Satan in Wicca. There is no supervillain to blame when things go wrong in your life. You see, Satan is a crutch. It's an excuse for why things are so bad in your life, instead of taking personal responsibility for what happens to you. A lot of the problems that people have is their own fault. And you have to grow up and you have to accept them and you have to come up with solutions to solve them instead of being a baby. I'm just going to tell you just like that. I'm not going to mince words or sugarcoat anything. Okay? Wicca, a lot of people think that Wicca is goddess worship. No, it's not. Not all female witches worship the goddess. Some don't work with the goddess at all. Some just work with the god or their own deities and ancestors. And yes, men can be witches too. The goddess, the god, does not care what is in between your legs. It's unimportant. When I mention the goddess and the god, the goddess is the literal moon in the sky. The god is the literal sun in the sky. You can actually see the moon and the sun. You don't have to feel them in your heart. They're not imaginary. We can see them. They're real. We feel them. The moon controls our emotions. It controls a lot of females' menstrual cycles. And of course, everybody can feel the sun. You feel it when it's summertime and it's 104 degrees outside. And because we cannot live without the sun and the moon. Human beings literally cannot live without it. We will literally become extinct without the moon and the sun. We need them to survive. They're life givers. Introducing your child to Wicca and witchcraft can be challenging because you may not know what to say. You might not know what to teach them. Just talk to your children openly. Be honest with them. Children will listen. They will listen to you. Kids are like sponges. They soak up information from their surroundings. And their information, a lot of their information, comes from their parents or guardian. Talking to kids about the Wiccan faith is a great way to start teaching them. As you go about your magical business, you can include your children in witchcraft. You can. If they are not hard-headed, if they are not being difficult, then yes, you can include them. You can walk them through what you are doing currently. If you go, let's say you go for a walk, you can start talking about nature and how the seasons bring about different cycles. This is a great place, like actually in nature, to introduce what is known in our faith as the wheel of the year and how each season corresponds with a different Sabbath. Sabbath being spelled S-A-B-B-A-T. When you take time to be in nature with your kids, it's another opportunity to talk to them about respecting the earth, being aware of their surroundings, and living in the moment. All of these are principles that are important in the Wiccan faith. All of these are important principles. You know already that Wicca is a nature-based religion. You already know, if you are a witch watching this, that witches are the guardians of the earth and that they are, quite frankly, the only hope of the earth's survival. And I know a lot of people call us tree huggers or hippies, or, just like weird, but who else goes as hard for the earth besides pagans, specifically witches? Who? Nobody goes as hard for the preservation for future generations of this earth besides witches. Nobody. Connecting with nature is a terrific opportunity to use your child's open mind, because your child has an open mind anyway. Your child, if they have showed interest in witchcraft, they may have already seen a ghost. They may have already received psychic information that maybe a day or two later turned out to be accurate. That's usually the signs of somebody who is probably going to be best suited to practice witchcraft if they have seen a ghost before, or if they have received psychic information that turned out to be accurate. Your child's open mind, you can teach them about nature, different realms, and working in harmony with everyone. Unless one of those people that is everyone is a straight up asshole, then you can tell them, if somebody turns out to be an asshole, don't try to live in harmony with them, because it's just not going to work out. Once an asshole, always an asshole. Okay? If you are doing a ritual is much larger than doing a spell. If you are doing a ritual, while you're doing your magical workings, either in spells or something larger like a ritual for a different Sabbath, like the next Sabbath that we have coming up is Astora on March 20th. And Astora has a lot to do with the bunny, with the eggs, with coloring eggs, with candles, with baskets, all that type of stuff. Include them. Kids love to be involved in anything that adults are doing, and witchcraft is no different. Let me say that again. Children love to be involved in anything that adults are doing, and witchcraft is no different. No different. When you are performing your next ritual or spell, you can pull up a chair for your child or children and let your child join in. Make them feel welcome. You can talk them through what you are currently doing. Just don't do your work silently. Talk to your child and answer any questions that they have with patience and understanding. If you feel that it's safe for your child to light candles or to arrange things on your altar, then let them do that. Include them. If you want your child to safely start doing witchcraft, it has to start in the home. Don't let them learn it outside. Witchcraft has to first be taught in the home, or if you are an adult, it should first be learned in the home before you seek out a coven or a group. Learn all you can first, and then seek out those groups. But when it comes to a child, though, witchcraft must always be taught in the home in case something goes wrong, in case they conjure something, in case they conjure a demon. That has happened. I have read reports and I have personally received reports of children summoning demons outside the home and that demon following them home and causing chaos. Witchcraft must always be taught first in the home. Don't let them learn it on the street. You're the parent. Act like a parent. If you want your child to start living a magically filled life, that's great. But let them learn it in the home first. It must first be taught in the home. And if you notice that they've been acting a little differently or acting a little bit witchy, talk to them. Ask them what's going on. If they tell you they are interested in learning witchcraft, then put time aside to teach them. If you feel like they're ready to be included in your rituals, then welcome them with open arms. Children will love to be involved, and you can explain to them step by step. Don't skip any steps. Step by step. What you are doing, why you are doing this, and what you expect to get out of the spell. All while opening your child's eyes to the wonder that is Wicca and witchcraft. But keep it in the home, though. And make sure you make it crystal clear to your child that witchcraft is done in the home. It's not done outside. Don't let your children do witchcraft outside, because they're not going to be able to defend themselves. An adult can, a child cannot. If you want to do witchcraft, you're coming with me in the kitchen and we're doing it together. You're not an adult. I don't want you doing it out on the street. Because you don't know, that child could be stopped by the police for picking a flower that they are not supposed to be picking. You can't pick every flower that you want and decide to take the oil from it or to use it in your spells or potions. Some flowers absolutely cannot be picked, because that might be food for the bees or another wild animal. The child probably won't be arrested, but they'll probably get a ticket. When it comes to spells and craftsman work, let your child join in with a few different spells, small spells. You're not going to teach your child sex magic. You're not going to teach your child blood magic. You're not going to teach your child how to use bones in witchcraft. You're not going to teach your child how to make potions or essential oils. That is for an adult. I guess you would say it's still a child that's 18 years and older. A child is not still in school. So if you have an 18-year-old that's not in school anymore, like they graduated from high school, then yeah, you can teach them blood magic. But don't teach them that while they're still in school, because they might get froggy and decide to jump and show their classmates, and then you have a big situation on your hands. Okay? Let your child create their own wand by going out in the woods on a nature hike and allowing them to find a fallen branch or even a twig or a stick that speaks to them. You can let your child grab some stones, feathers, anything that your child is drawn to, and start walking them through how to craft and how to make their own supplies and tools. This is also a good lesson in respecting nature and everything that the earth decides to give us. Incorporating your deities when it comes to bedtime. Tell your child, a few stories about the deities that you worship. Talk to them a little bit about you all ancestor. If you happen to work with your ancestors in witchcraft, talk to them about them. Greek, Roman, Asian, and African goddesses, and gods have many stories written about them. And that's a good way to introduce Wicca to them, by telling your child these stories about these gods and goddesses. And they even have books. There are even books available at Barnes & Noble, Amazon, eBay that is targeted just for children. You can even, there's a genre for witchcraft geared towards children. Then you can incorporate the deities into your rituals. You would actually be surprised at how quickly your children start to pick up on which god or goddess to work with. They'll feel a connection to that god or goddess. The biggest thing to remember that you should never forget is simply to talk to your children about the religion as openly as possible and be honest as possible. Children pick up on everything. They may not say anything, but children pick up on anything. Children will pick up the vibe, the energy, and your love for Wicca and your devotion to witchcraft, and want to be as involved as you are. So that is my broadcast tonight about raising your child as a witch. Let me tell you again where you can find me on social media. Find me on Facebook at Magically Blessed. Find me on Instagram at autumn_Phoenix1. Find me on Twitter at Priestess Autumn. Find me on YouTube at Autumn Phoenix, and find me on Periscope at Autumn Phoenix. Thank you, everybody, and I'll speak to you guys soon. Bye, everybody.